Welcome back. This episode's going to be different because, well, I recorded a whole bunch of episodes without audio, and also there was a specific thing that happened in between the last episode and what these episodes would be, and we're going to call that save scumming. Because my character was about to die of great pox with no air. So, what I did in the save scumming was I tried a couple times to miracle away the great pox with my physician. All those attempts failed, and I kind of got tired of that. So instead, I went with the steady route, and I said, okay, I'm gonna divorce my wife who can't have children, marry someone who can, and then get 3 concubines. And so I got those concubines and everything, and I played until I had a son. Also, I had to redo the conquest of OK and Santo Domingo. So that was a thing. And you can see here my wife and children and my concubines. This is where everything went. So I will continue by summarizing the rest of these episodes because this is 4 episodes condensed with no audio. So I'm currently making a commentary for this. I hope you enjoy it. So we went and did what pirates do best, which is going around and looking for piles of money that people are just leaving around and not claiming, and nobody seems to have any issue with us taking, and absolutely not killing anybody in the process, you see. And while we were doing this and gathering more troops, there was a revolt in our lands, a really big one that we couldn't deal with normally. So we just waited a really long time, and then we just bought some mercenaries, and we killed them all. Eventually, Hispaniola, very soon after actually, split into a couple of little regions, and I wanted to get at least one piece of them. So I decided I would go to war for La Romana. But that war would fail, not because the enemy was stronger, but because they quit. Also now, there's this big ol' revolt again in our lands, just like earlier, except arguably worse. So we did what we do best, and that is wait around uncomfortably until we decide that we're going to spend a whole bunch of money on mercenaries and then kill them all. And it was at about this point in time that I realized that I should be using my marshal to suppress revolts. Also, I just realized that I was in the Davy Jones mates again. And we raided and looted and got lots of money and ended up spending a bunch of it as well. And we did that until the Brazilian Empire suddenly asked us to give them some, and we agreed. Then we immediately lost a battle in Puerto Rico, so we had to take our raiding somewhere else, Central America. Because of the money we sent to Brazil earlier, they sent us a governor who was good with money, supposedly. He would cause problems later. And then we had a second son, which would be destined to split our land through Gavelkind and ruin our lives. And suddenly, the Caribbean Empire was in disarray, which means there was only one thing to do: attack them to reform El Cibao. Most of the war, however, ended up being playing hard to get with the actual revolt instead of the empire itself, while we fought over who would get control of the few territories on this island. Eventually, though, the revolting army left and I was able to take all the land and the war score ticked up. The empire tried to come and take Tortuga from us, but they did, but it didn't change the outcome where I won and got my El Cibao. Except this was under a mistaken assumption that I would be getting El Cibao. This thing is, El Cibao refounded itself with my relative at the helm. And again, I was stuck with another duchy on this island that I didn't mean to create, but I was accepting of it this time despite the fact that I still bamboozled myself. And while I was off raiding after the war, I'd accidentally discovered that I, myself, was the high captain of Davy Jones' mates, and I didn't know how it had happened. But I saw that I had all this new found dark power, and I was going to put use to it. So I used dark healing and got rid of my syphilis. Also, one of my courtiers made a statue of a giant ear for me, and it rocks. At some point, I noticed that the Empire was still kind of weak, and so I was going to try to take La Romana back for my duchy. In the middle of the war, however, I was beset by a rebellion, and that didn't make it easier, but the Empire hadn't really been putting up any resistance at this point, so it was closer to trivial to deal with. By the time the Empire came to siege down Tortuga, I had basically already won the game with the ticking war score, so I was able to claim La Romana for my own. I was raiding the lands in Haiti, and had just finished summoning my familiar with dark power when I died very suddenly and tragically, and was succeeded by Manly. However, Manly's brother Earl has the Duchy of Santo Domingo, whereas Manly only has Tortuga and a piece of Cuba to the left of it. So this is going to be a hard fight for Manly.